Hello again, Michael Freebrick here from beautiful North Carolina with the first shaving review of 2020. And today it's going to be two products from Strike Gold Shave. It's in the Befana line. This is the shave soap, and I also have the aftershave, which of course I'll use at the end of the shave. So this is in their premium line. It is, I think, a limited edition run. I'll just show you the soap for a moment. Soft and slightly tacky. This is a tallow and goat's milk based soap, which I think is their base is called the Patriot base. This particular product line is being, I think there's a kit available which is, I think, shave soap and aftershave from Strike Gold. There's a pomade, there's an EDT from somebody else. There's also a Heritage Shave Collection custom brush that goes along with it if you're buying the entire kit. I'm not sure if you can buy just the soap and the aftershave by themselves, whether you have to buy the kit as a whole. But this is just a small sample of the soap. I also have a small sample of the aftershave. As I said, it is a tallow and goat's milk based soap. I believe the soap is being made by Jennifer Martin, who is the person who used to produce the soap for Mason Boutique as well. So just for a bit of background there. I have some of the soap here in the Captain's Choice soap holding for soap loading, brush loading purposes only. The scent on this is based on a perfume by Xerjoff, which is spelled Xerjoff, which makes it essentially impossible to figure out how to pronounce it. I believe it is pronounced Xerjoff. The scent is Naxos. It's one of three in their 1861 line that were designed to commemorate the unification of Italy in 1861. This is just one of the three. And this has a kind of a slightly sweet citrus scent at the beginning for me. It has, I would have to describe it kind of a slightly exotic, spicy, and tobacco scent on top of some wood, which is for me kind of the primary scent. There's a little touch of sweetness at the beginning. There's some sweet tobacco. There's some spicy, I don't know, it just smells really good. And I have to say, this is one of those scents I would imagine as a perfume smells a bit exotic and probably smells a little bit wealthy or posh, maybe, as Paul H. would say. A very, very nice scent. Okay, I'm going to be using for today's razor the Karve Shaving Chistopher Bradley aluminum razor, which was my pick for the year for 2019. I'm going to be using in there a super Iridium stainless steel blade, which I'll put in there in just a moment. And the brush for today is going to be one of the two picks for 2019, which is going to be the Zenith boar knot reseated into this beautiful barrel-shaped custom handle from Dogwood Handcrafts. So let's get the razor assembled, and then we'll start getting the soap lathered up. Very simple design. Obviously for the head, it is just the standard two center posts. I'm going to go for the standard C plate. I could have gone today for a multi-base plate shave, which I would have done the open comb D plate because it is 2+ days worth of growth. But no, I'm going to keep it simple for today. Nice long screw there. Get that good and tight using their supplied washer, as one should. All right, let's go and get the soap going. Let me wet my face again. Get the soap lathered up. As I said at the beginning, it is a tallow and goat's milk based formula. Which means you should expect a bit of sort of heavy fattiness to it, which is the case. There it is before you start loading. I'm going to start with a relatively dry brush. And I'm going to add water. Now you may have noticed that there is a lot more soap in the loading bowl than I would normally have for these weekly shaves. I've decided for 2020 to be a little less chinsy with the amount of soap that I'm scooping out of the samples. I don't really know why I was trying to hold on to so much soap. That's in part because if I then pass on the soap to somebody else, they don't feel like they're getting cheated out of a free soap. But the fact is, even if you scoop out 2 weeks worth of soap, there's still plenty in that tub for someone to enjoy, especially if you're giving away basically another full tub of soap. 2 weeks of soap out of a tub is really nothing. All right, I'm just going to continue to load the brush. I'm just putting little drips of water. I was very happy to see, by the way, and unfortunately I cannot remember the gentleman's name. I wish I could off the top of my head, but a person wrote back to say that he had stopped blooming his soaps and was getting a much better lather. And I am not surprised by that at all. I think honestly just that big layer of water on there, you kind of just, you're maybe softening up the top layer of the soap, but you're also dissolving the soap. And too much water in your soap doesn't produce a good lather. That looks like a nice kind of creamy paste on there, which is the case. I'm going to go ahead and start with that. Let me wet my face, drip a bit of water onto the brush. Always try to start sort of wet on wet. So there's just a bit of water on the face of the brush. Scent strength, I would say, is distinct but not strong. Opens up a little bit as you start to lather. That's in part because, of course, you have it right under your nose. As you can see, that's starting to develop a little touch of sheen already, but that is nowhere near done. We're going to put quite a bit more water in there. Because that still feels like dense and pasty on the skin. The Zenith knot is really starting to break in quite nicely. Splays pretty easily. There's just a tiny touch of scrub to it still, which I don't think is going to last. If I were to use this for like another 2 weeks maybe, daily, I think that'll be completely gone. Yes, I'm a bit bummed that I had to destroy the handle to get this, but if I really want another one that's in the original format, I would just buy another one, but I don't think I'm going to. Okay, that still sounds like it needs a bit more water. A little more. And there we go. That's starting to loosen up quite nicely. Okay, I know that's going to sound crazy, but this still sounds a little airy. I'm moving the brush over the soap, so I'm going to add just a touch more water, and I think that will be that. That's looking pretty good. That could take a bit more water if I wanted, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. That is a really nice face feel to it. Good and slick. Alright, now if you're wondering if I've been enjoying my shaves with the Karve all week, the answer is very simply yes. I have absolutely no reservations or qualms about my pick for the year. Shaves this week have been absolutely wonderful. This is the only Super Iridium blade I still have. And then onto a pack of, I don't know what I'll do next. I have a single loose Visimet Pulse Silver. I might move to that. I just got another pack of the Gillette Wilkinson Sword Indian blades. The same person who brought me the Park Avenue brought me a pack back. Yeah, this blade is going to make it through this shave, but that'll be that. There we go. All right, so the first pass done, let's talk about the soap's performance. Generally speaking, this is a pretty slick soap. Rinses off, well, it's weird. It rinses off easily and you can feel some residual slickness, but not a lot of residual slickness. And I think that also goes for the flip side of the coin, because I think residual slickness and protection are kind of two sides of the same coin. Slickness is definitely there. Protection is okay, but it's when you rinse it that you kind of realize it doesn't feel quite as heavy and fatty as you would expect from the ingredients or what you would expect from the slickness. And that's not a knock, that's just how it feels to me. Overall, really enjoying it though. I never used any of the Maison Boutique or Mason Boutique soaps, so I really have nothing to compare against. This is just the first soap from them that I've used. And yeah, I gotta say, slickness, I certainly like the way the soap feels. All right, this is gonna be the across the grain. As you can see there, slickness is no issue. And I know that for some, protection is kind of a weird quality. Like it's not really something you can easily define. It's more like a feeling. And for me, it kind of comes down to the feeling of what lays between the blade and your skin as you pass the blade over your skin. And for some soaps, there is a fatty residue or a layer that when I talk about protection, that's kind of what I'm talking about. And I think that's often what you feel when you go to rinse the soap. You feel that residual layer kind of coming to life again because you're adding water back to it. Blade is doing much better without having to tear through those 2 days of growth. Yeah, I gotta say, I really do like the scent in this. I think they picked a really good perfume to dupe. I mean, I'm assuming it's a dupe. Ah, okay. Last pass. I'm going to pull out some of the soap from the soap sample holding also loading bowl. Yeah, and you can feel, when you reapply the lather, you can feel that there is a nice degree of creaminess or fattiness to the soap. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to add a bit of water to that and just bump up the slickness a little bit. There we go. And yeah, you may be thinking that looks a little thin, but I was going to pull some of the lather out. And you can see that it's getting really nice and wet. That is almost drippy. But really good for that third pass. All right, rinse my hand off. Let's do pass number 3. Against the grain. If you are shaving against the grain, by the way, this is really true for any of the passes while I awkwardly hold my ear like this. If you have one of those sort of hair patterns that is a little bit complicated, or hair grows in a variety of directions in one spot, some people have those whorls, or like for me, around my chin, it kind of grows in 2 or 3 directions at once. The best thing to do, and I know this is for people that are sort of chasing that super clean shave, is not so much to follow a very strict against the grain philosophy, but while you're shaving, is to try to figure out what is the most comfortable approach to that part of the hair, because you may have to change the direction in more than one or two ways to get a close shave in that spot without causing yourself irritation. If all you're doing is just sticking to a kind of a strict, what feels like against the grain, but in fact it really isn't a single against the grain. Yeah, that's what that shave, that razor is just, geometry is just so spot on for me. Yeah, if you're trying to stick to a very strict against the grain, and there is no such thing as against the grain there, I've always advocated for a light touch and change the angle and try a number of different approaches based on how comfortable it feels, not how much you can kind of push through and against the grain. I think what you end up with in that case is mostly irritation, chance for nicks, dissatisfying shave. Yeah, that blade's 100% done. I'm starting to see I can already have a little spot right there. Yep, that blade is just done. There's a certain roughness to it. And I'm way more likely to give myself like a little weep or a little nick with an old blade than with a new blade. All right, let's rinse. Yeah, there is a layer of slickness there. Slick, but not very slick. Soap is kind of hard to rinse off. There we go. All right, let's towel off and see how we did for post-shave. I was surprised actually, because this a little drier, honestly, than I expected it to be. Not tight, definitely a little bit of slickness there, but my skin already feels a little bit tight. But I'm going to tell you that that doesn't much matter in this regard, because this is the aftershave sample. I only have just a little bit left, which I think should definitely be enough for today. It comes with a very small regulator, so I have to sort of gently tip it out. The aftershave is also includes alum. So I think it's, if I remember correctly, I think it's witch hazel, alcohol, scent, it might be glycerin, and it contains alum as well. So this is you feel a big hit when you put this on. It's definitely just a straight up, quote unquote, simple alcohol shave, but the addition of the alum means this is even a little bit more drying than you might normally expect. Yep, I feel that blade was right at the end there. Gotta know when to stop, and that was perfect time to stop. Aftershave is a big hit, quite drying when it goes down. Like the dry down is almost immediate. The scent really comes to life in the aftershave. If this is what the perfume smells like, I can understand why this is so popular, because the aftershave does smell very good. And to my nose, this is where a little bit more of sort of the exotic spice. Yeah, that's just nice. That's just a really nice, very, very nice scent. All right, well, my friends, we're going to call it quits right there for the first shave of 2020. Let's make a lightning pass over the products, only of which two are new: the Befana shave soap and aftershave from Strike Gold Shave. As I said at the beginning, this is a tallow and goat's milk based soap in their Patriot premium line. Very good slickness, very easy to lather, can take a fair amount of water as you saw, continue to build a lather when you get a nice sheen to it as you saw, and it starts to get a little bit wet. That's when you've kind of hit the sweet spot there. Overall slickness is really pretty good. I would say residual slickness is kind of mid of the road. It is a little bit drying post shave, which I didn't really quite expect given sort of how creamy and fatty the lather feels on your face, but in some regards it doesn't much matter because you're going to follow that with this aftershave, which is a big alcohol and alum hit. So you're going to feel a big dry down and some kind of immediate tightness to the skin. Overall, very nice, clean, easy shave. Didn't push it. Just let it be because that blade is 100% done. Chistopher Bradley, this is the Chistopher Bradley aluminum version of the razor. I love the color scheme. I know some people don't, but I think that black and red just looks fantastic. And of course, let's not forget Dogwood Handcrafts Zenith boar knot in this custom handle. Whew! Lightning. Well, not really. Looking at the time, this thing is going to be, what, I don't know, 20 minutes long. Anyway, I want to say thank you once again so much for watching. Really appreciate all the comments and the feedback on the 2019 wet shaving recap or the review. That was really great to read those comments, so thank you so much for that. Of course, please feel free to leave a comment or question against this video or any previous video. And until next time, goodbye.